Alright, hello there. Today I'll be playing this BL visual novel well made by Moonlight. That is, well, about a guy who's like stressed and then stressed apparently because of work, like because he has to move to a village or something, and there is like this spooky forest and he meets some nice guy there, something like that. So let's see how it goes. Alright. Okay. I've always had some trouble sleeping, but I swear this damn town makes it worse. I have also always had kinda trouble sleeping. Not like I can't sleep at all, but it kinda stretches and the internal clock goes all weird. I spent my whole life in the city, flashing business signs, yelling drunks, headlights and engines. Those were all just part of the backdrop of the night. I didn't notice them unless I thought about it. They weren't what kept me awake. But out here, past 9 p.m., everything is pitch black and eerily silent. Even with the window open, all I can hear is cicadas. And all I can see is the stars. I don't know, that sounds good to me, but I grew up on the countryside, so maybe that's just me. It's awful. I have gotten into the habit of taking long walks late at night because it's better than staring at the ceiling. When I can't sleep, which is most of the time, I get up and creep out of the back door, trying not to wake my landlord, and head down the main street. Not like maybe like taking a walk makes you a little more sleepy, who knows? Even calling it the main street feels wrong, because it's just this tiny stretch of family-owned businesses. I pass a couple cafes and bakeries, some little clothing boutiques, mostly aimed at older women, and way more antique shops than you'd think any town would need. They draw in some business from surrounding cities during the day, I guess. Well, I guess it's like more like small town, I guess. Like villages at least, like here, like they would have like one store max, but most of the time none. In the past there used to be more, but now the countryside is mostly deserted. Then there's an old ornate church, the smallest library I have ever seen, and a museum that allegedly has tons of information about the history of the area. I haven't been able to confirm this myself, because it seems to only open occasionally, depending on the whims of the owner. And that's about it for the commercial area of this ghost town. After that, if I wanted to return to civilization, I could follow the gravel road past a bunch of farms, and maybe I'd run into another person in an hour or two. Yeah, I can kinda imagine like there were kinda like, I don't know, like if you would call them towns, maybe you could just barely, but so far I haven't been that desperate, so every night I take a left turn after the museum and go walking through the forest instead. The first few times I walked this way, I stuck to the very edges of the forest, but now I'm pretty good at navigating through it by moonlight. It's not nearly as dark as I thought it would be. Yeah, pretty moody, I guess. Going to a dark forest. Haven't really done that myself. It's kinda scary. Though I guess like also the thing at least like in northern Finland is that well, in the summer like the forest isn't dark because of the nightless nights. Maybe that's why I got the feeling like sure now that I think about it, I have been awake late, but well, it is always bright in the summer. I guess there is one thing to be said for small towns. It's nice to be able to walk around at night like this. Back home, I'd be too worried about getting mugged or something to stay out this late by myself. And I certainly wouldn't have the opportunity to hike through a forest without going on a day trip somewhere. Yeah, that's true, I guess. But out here, I feel a little more free, even if it comes at the cost of my beauty sleep. I can do whatever I want because there's no one else out here to bother me. Unless, I guess. At least, there never has been before. Well, that is the nice guy, I guess. For weeks, I have walked this route every night and never seen anyone else. But now, coming around a bend in the trail, I see a young man ahead of me. It's so out of the ordinary that I wonder if I really did manage to fall asleep at a decent hour tonight. And if I'm just dreaming about walking in the forest. The man is sitting on a tree stump, his legs stretched out in front of him, looking up the moon. From the way it illuminates his pale face with silver beams of light dancing through the tree branches, the moon almost seems to be looking back at him. My first instinct is to turn around and leave him to his musing. But as I step backward, a twig snaps, and the man turns his head in my direction almost immediately. He must have an extraordinary sense of hearing. He looks surprised at first, but his features soon soften in their smile. Stranger. Hey, what are you doing hiding in the shadows there? I step forward into the moonlight so he can see me more clearly. Sorry, I'm not hiding, I just didn't want to bother you. You're not bothering me. No, it would bother me if an intriguing stranger like you left without even introducing himself. Come here. I approached tentatively and perched on the edge of his tree stump, not wanting to encroach on his personal space. What's your name? David. Interesting. You can call me Ron. You can call me, like, is that basically like, is that the real name then? Tell me, David, what are you doing wandering the forest alone at night? Yeah, and you too, I guess. I thought I was the only one around here who did that. And I thought I was. Clearly, we were both gravely mistaken. I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's just go for plain Ron, I guess. Yeah, well, I don't know, like how the characters look, because I never paid attention to the series. But maybe, who knows? And I have a lot of trouble sleeping, so it helps pass the time. Trouble sleeping, why is that? He leans toward me. There's something comforting about gazing into his deep green eyes. Well, I had never lived in a small town before. It's much darker and quieter than I'm used to. Trying to sleep here is totally different, you know. I don't know, to be honest. I had never lived in the city, but I can imagine. What brings you to this humble village then? Like which one it is, like village or town? Though I guess like the difference, like, can be hard to tell. Long story short, I got a job here. I make the long story short, tell me, how do you end up with the job? Well, okay, so ever since I was a kid, I have always dreamed of working for a newspaper. I pause, waiting for the reaction I'm used to, but Ron just keeps looking at me expectantly. Go on. Really, most people kind of laugh at that. Why though? Like, what is wrong with working for a newspaper? Ron seems almost hurt. They laugh at you when you tell them about your dream. Well, they don't always laugh out loud, but they are kind of dismissive about it. Why? Most people think it's kind of a naive idea. Print media isn't what it used to be. They tell me it would be more realistic to become a TV reporter or to write for a news website or something. But that just isn't the same, you know. There's something about actual physical newspapers that I have always wanted to be part of. I want to write something important that will educate people about current events, and then I want to watch it come out of a big printer. More like you could, like, write it in a computer, print it yourself, and then put it on a website basically. Or like leave it to others to put it on the website. I want to know someone is going to deliver it to people's doorsteps. And they'll pick it up and read it while they eat their breakfast. That's why I have always wanted. It's a little silly, I know. Ron places one of his hands on top of mine. Dreams are never silly. Thanks. I intertwine my fingers with his, feeling self-conscious about my clumsy, calloused hands. His are thin and delicate. Anyway, I graduated with my journalism degree last spring, and I had a hell of a time finding actual newspaper that were hiring at all, let alone hiring someone as young and inexperienced as me. Yeah, like that's something that always bugs me about how businesses work these days. Like, nobody wants to give people a chance basically. Like they expect that you have like 10 plus years of experience on whatever. But like, is it that hard to actually take someone in and like teach a little bit like how to do things? Anyway, and then I saw an ad for a position at the St. Francis Gazette, and here I am. Ron breaks into a wide smile. So you are achieving your dream. Well, I don't know if I'd say that yet. It's a really small newspaper, and I have only been here a few weeks. But I hope I can do some good work here, make some connections. Then maybe I'll be able to get a job at a bigger city's newspaper one day, where I can write some more meaningful stuff. More like local things can be meaningful too. And well, nobody says that you can't write like about like other things too, even if it's a small paper. I hope so too. Thanks. You have been a lot more supportive than most people I have told about this. Sounds like you have been talking to the wrong people. Maybe I have. A light breeze rustles through the branches above us. Ron squeezes my hand and I shift closer to him on the tree stump so our legs are almost touching. Oh, it is pretty swift progress, I guess. So you have heard my life story. What about yours? Oh, there's not much to tell. I have lived around here my whole life. You have never left. I'm never very far away. The wind picks up, blowing Ron's hair away from his face. His eyes shine in the moonlight. And what do you do here? He smiles mischievously. Oh, I just wander the forest looking for cute guys. Oh, that's kinda sus. Kinda sus in a way. Like maybe it's flirting, but it like outside of that it would be sus. But that's quick. He leans in and kisses me so suddenly that I don't immediately realize what's happening. I relax for one blissful second, his soft lips against mine and the cool forest breeze on my skin. And that's the last thing I remember. My eyes snap open in the bedroom of my apartment, the sunlight streaming in through the window. It must have been a dream. Oh, that is interesting. At least I got a good night's sleep for once. A few days later, I sit at my desk in the small dusty office of the St. Francis Gazette. A half-written article is on the computer screen in front of me, but I'm more concerned with gazing out the window and fiddling with a pencil. Apparently noticing my disinterest in actual working, my colleague Moody leans over precariously in his chair to make eye contact. How's it going there, Dave? Moody is technically the assistant editor of the paper, but he is a lot more active in its production than the aging editor-in-chief. He's basically my supervisor. Fine. Yes, sure. You look a little distracted there. Just trying to figure out exactly how to word this next part, you know. I want to make sure people who read it can really imagine the taste of the apple butter at the festival when I describe it. Alright, take your time then, Dave. Just wanted to make sure you're not slacking off. He shoots me a thumbs up before returning to his work. Well, sounds like a good guy. I don't know, like that guy kinda reminds me of like Fred Flintstone or something. I don't remember how that guy looks either, but somehow. Of course, I'm not thinking about describing the apple butter at all. I'm thinking about that guy I met, or maybe just dreamed I met the other night. When I first woke up, I told myself it couldn't have been real. After all, what are the odds of me just happening to run into anyone in the middle of nowhere late at night, let alone a gorgeous stranger who reassures me about my problems? That and kissing him is the last thing I remember before I was suddenly waking up back at home. I have been pretty sleep deprived lately, but I don't think my mental faculties are so compromised that I would just totally forget saying goodbye to him and walking home and anything else that might have happened. Well, you know, like maybe you two went to the local bar and drank a little bit too much. Like that's how, like the classic reason what people use when they say that they don't remember, right? But there's something about the memory that I just can't let go of. I remember tiny details of how he looked in the moonlight, the breeze gently ruffling his hair. I can vividly recall the soft brush of his lips against mine before everything faded away. Yeah, like usually like dreams are pretty haphazard, so if you remember like a lot of details, like yeah, it's kinda like easy to dream then. It doesn't feel like a vague and distorted memory of a dream. It feels like something that really happened. Yeah. I haven't gone walking through the forest again since that night because I want to hold on to the hope that it might have been real. And I'm scared that if I go back there and don't see him, it will be confirmation that the sweet, handsome guy who's interested in me could never actually existed. But surely there are other guys. But like, well, I guess like not going is one way to look at it. But like other way to look at it is to just go immediately the next night. Like you know, like surely the guy is there. But who knows? I sigh and turn back to my computer scene. I can't spend all day musing about hot guys of questionable existence. I have a job to do, even if it's not a particularly interesting one right now. But you wanted to do this right. As I force myself to string a few adjectives together about Mrs. Budavir's prize-winning apple butter, Marty stands up and stretches dramatically. Ah, that's better. Time for a break. I'm going to go grab a coffee from Sunrise. Anyone else want anything? He circles the office, jotting down a couple orders from other co-workers before returning to my desk. Anyone else? How about you, Dave? My treat. Well, like, how about like that? Well, I don't know how to describe it. How about like a hot guy from the forest or something? You don't have to get me anything, Marty. Come on, it's no problem. Have you tried their donuts yet? You can't say you live in St. Francis until you have had a Sunrise donut. Alright, I guess a donut would be nice. Maybe a Boston cream if they have it. I wonder like what Boston cream like means in practice. But I guess this is US. Well, unsurprisingly, I guess. You got it. One Boston cream coming right up. He calls out his list of orders again, double checking with the others before leaning a bit closer toward me. You're a good kid, Dave. I know this town isn't a very exciting place to live, but... Oh, it's a nice town, really. It's okay. I know it probably wasn't your first choice for a cool place to live when you got out of college. But I just wanted to say I hope you're settling in okay. Let me know if you ever need help with anything, okay? Well, I could ask the Red Flintstone guy, like if he knows the guy who is like waiting for cute boys in the forest. Oh, okay. Thanks, Marty. No problem. Be right back, everybody. Don't get up to too much mischief while I'm out. Bye. I slump down into my chair and stare at the 2 sentences I have written in the past 20 minutes. It's going to be a long afternoon. Yeah, that isn't like top productivity. Exactly, I guess. I hope those donuts are as good as Marty seems to think they are. I guess it's back to the forest. Chocolate frosting, that is always good at least. Custard filling, well, I guess why not. That night, I finally find myself turning left at the museum on my walk again. As I forge through the thickening foliage, I steel myself for the possibility of finding no one there awaiting me. Ron might not even be real. Or if he is, he might not even be there tonight. Yeah, like at least like I would imagine that like the next night after the incident is like the most likely thing. Like if you don't access phone numbers or anything, and like you want to meet each other, like it would be logical to go to the same place again, right? But after that, like, well, who knows? There's no reason to get my hopes up just because of one strange and wonderful experience that might have been a dream. The moon is waning tonight, and my path is less illuminated than it was before. I almost take a wrong turn more than once, but I finally find my way to that small clearing with the 8th tree stump in the middle. It looks foreboding in the limited moonlight, surrounded by dark, twisting branches. And of course, there's no one there. I knew there wouldn't be. David, you're back. Mwah. I leap into the clearing and almost fall over before stumbling into a seated position on the tree stump. You were hiding in the trees last time, so I thought I'd try it. It was fun. I struggled to catch my breath. Fun, yeah. You enjoy almost giving people heart attacks. Heart attacks. Yeah, you know, like when your heart beats way too fast and you might die. Like, is heart attack that, or is heart attack like wow, well, kinda not beating fast enough. Ron looks confused. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. No, I'm not actually having a heart attack. It's just an expression. Oh. The moonlight seems brighter than it was a minute ago. It illuminates Ron's pale face, and I see him smile as he perches on the tree stump next to me. I don't know very many expressions. People don't say that around here. Not that I have noticed. It must be kind of an isolated life growing up in this town. You could say so. He cocks his head and gives me a quizzical look. Why didn't you come back until now? I was waiting. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable before. Oh no, it was nothing like that. I wasn't. It was fine. It was good. Oh, good. His smile somehow gets even wider than it was before. But you didn't want to see me again sooner. No, I did, but... This is going to sound stupid, but I kind of didn't think you were real. You know, I have really been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and I guess that's kind of affecting my memory. I didn't even remember walking back home and going to bed that night. Isn't that crazy? So I was worried you were just a dream. Oh, that's all? Yeah. Sorry I didn't come back sooner. I didn't know you were waiting. That's okay. I was hoping to see you sooner, but I spent a lot of time in this forest anyway. Like how much is a lot of time? It's really nice here. Yeah, it is. We sit in silence for a moment, and I look around at the trees as well as I can look at them in the dark anyway. There's a pretty even spread of different kinds. I recognize pines and maples, and noticed several more I can't name. I can imagine him finding it relaxing to hang out here. So So he inches toward me. If you weren't uncomfortable last time, does that mean it's okay if I... An uncharacteristic burst of confidence seizes me, and I close the short distance between us with a kiss. The scent of the surrounding pine trees seems to get stronger as I run my fingers through his hair. After a moment, I pull away gently, and Ron smiles at me. I think I can detect a slight flush in his cheeks, but I'm not sure. More than slight, I guess, graphically speaking. Then, without a warning, he springs up off of the tree stump. Want to see one of my other favorite parts of the forest? He sets off at such a fast and jubilant pace that he's almost skipping before I even have a chance to respond. I wonder what is happening like there. It could be a nice thing, but it could also be a bad thing. I don't mind, because of course I want to see whatever he has to show me. I grin and start jogging to catch up. Like maybe it's the guy's like favorite bush. And you can share it together. Ron leads me up a hill so steep that I'm gasping for breath by the time we reach the top. And I like to think I'm in pretty decent shape from all the walking, all I do. Yeah. Maybe not though, since Ron seems just as energetic as always as he strikes a triumphant pose. This is it. The top of the hill. I look around, wondering if this place has an especially nice view or something. But the trees are packed together pretty densely here, so I can't even see the stars very clearly. No, look down. He kneels down below a tree and begins to brush some dirt out of the way. Follow his lead, and soon my hands meet solid rock. What is this? Concrete. And over here, he feels around a bit more, then gestures for me to join him. I place my hand next to his. It's concrete. Like, is it like a bunker or is it like a sacrifice stone kind of thing? Or like, what else could it be? Metal. It's hard to see in the dark, but it's actually train tracks. Ah. I don't like it. Well, maybe it could also be concrete. A long time ago, a train was supposed to come through here. It was part of a plan to make it easier to get around this part of the country. They even built tunnels through the mountains up north a bit and abandoning the whole thing. Well, that's kinda, well, not sure what to make out of it. Like, I don't know super much about US history, but my impression is that, well, the government was kinda finding funding the railroads a little bit too much in the past. And wow, the rail companies got pretty rich or something. The forest grew back and covered it up. Forests always do. That's what I like about this place. It's like a secret. Yeah, that's really cool. How did you find it? I spent a lot of time exploring. The place where the train was supposed to stop is just a little further. He brushes the dirt off his hand and then holds it out to me. I let him help me back to my feet and follow him deeper into the forest. It's getting a little cold out. I rub my arms to keep warm as we walk, wishing I had worn a jacket. Here we are. We push through the trees into another small clearing, where a wooden bench appears to have become part of the natural landscape. Ooh, well, that would be a pretty romantic place. Vines are growing up its legs, and one corner of it seems fused into a warped tree trunk. I look more closely and see the remains of a small shelter above it, obscured by the branches. Wow, I can't believe I had no idea this was here. I place my hand on the back of the bench. Careful, watch out for the train. What do you mean? A gust of wind blows through the trees, rattling the branches against the roof of the shelter. I mean what I said. And rumbling in the distance is the last thing I remember hearing before I find myself in my bed again. Okay. I'm really going crazy. It's another day at work. Another day that I'm slumped over my desk not doing anything useful. I have been constantly distracted for the past few days, trying to figure out what's going on with my head. Both times I have met Ron, or believed I met Ron. I swear I remember leaving my apartment after dinner to go out walking, passing the shops on the main street and turning left after the museum to go into the forest. It's all perfectly clear. But somehow, both times, I don't remember going home. I'm in the forest with Ron. Then things suddenly get kind of blurry, and then I'm waking up in bed like it was a dream. How can I have a dream when, as far as I know, I didn't fall asleep? And how could I dream? Could a dream have so many details, like the feel of the uneven forest ground beneath my shoes, and the sharp scent of pine trees when I kissed him? Am I losing my mind? Oh, hopefully not. Hopefully not, but I got the bad feeling about this somehow. Should I go see a doctor? I don't know how I would even do that. I had a family doctor back home, but I haven't been there in years. Now I'm here. Can I even get a new doctor? Do people do that? Is there even a doctor in this town? Hey there, Dave. You falling asleep on the job? Marty slaps me on the back, jolting me out of my frantic musings. Sorry, I haven't been sleeping well lately. I hear that. I can't get a wink of sleep with my wife's snoring. That's also unfortunate. How about we take a break for some coffee and then come back refreshed and ready to work? Really, I don't mind. Or was it you don't mind? Oh, probably both of them don't mind. Of course not. Everyone needs a break sometimes. Come on. I was about to head out to Sunrise anyway. Well, it's not like I'm accomplishing anything in the office, and that donut Marty brought me last time was pretty good. Sure, let's go. Marty leads me to a cafe a few doors down, where a friendly older woman serves us coffee and donuts. A few other small groups of people are seated at the tables, all chatting happily over their drinks. We sit down at a table by the window. Marty bites into his donut with enthusiasm. I gotta say, Sunrise has the best donuts in town. But like the question I guess is, whether anyone else even makes donuts in the town. Only, don't tell that to Bob over at Smith and Son's Bakery. He's a little competitive. Okay, I guess, well, they are making donuts too. Smith and Son's Bakery, where's that? Oh, it's just a couple streets over on clearance. Around the corner from where Tim and Erin live. Although, I guess you might not know them yet. Let's see. Do you know Rachel? The woman who delivers the papers. She lives pretty near there too. I don't think so. I don't really know anyone here yet, except for you, my landlord, and the others in the office. And one weird guy who hangs around the forest and may or may not be a hallucination. You're kidding me. Sound like I have been remiss in my duties as your mentor, Dave. I gotta start introducing you to more people. Rachel comes by the office every week to pick up the papers, so I'll point her out to you then. I could probably introduce you to almost anyone in the town, really. Lived here all my life, and it's not a very big place. I wonder who else is around your age. Often they leave for college and don't come back, but I'm sure there are a few younger people. I sip my coffee as Marty mumbles to himself, apparently trying to remember various people's names and whether they moved away or not. There was the Muller's boy. He left for that job in Aldershot. I can't say I'm really all that concerned with trying to make new friends. I probably wouldn't be a very good person to hang out with right now anyway. What with the probably going crazy and all. So it doesn't bother me when Marty apparently gives up and changes the subject. Alright, have been meaning to tell you. We are doing a special edition of the paper for the town's anniversary next month. I was thinking you could write an article for it. Maybe drop by the museum sometime. Look around, pick out something from our history that you think would be interesting. Really, I can pick anything. Well, sure, as long as it's something you can write a decent length article about. We all want to have a bit of fun with it. Wonder like where this is going though. Like it's basically like the guy like a ghost or something. Something, and we will find out in the museum about that. Really, I can pick anything. Oh. And I know this place might seem boring now, but some crazy stuff has happened here. Like that whole story with the railroad. The railroad. That's real. Oh yeah, there was a railroad that was supposed to go through here. You might even be able to find what's left of the old station if you go looking for it in the forest, but it never got finished. Really interesting story, really. You should ask Dorothy in the museum about it. I'm sure she can tell it better than I can. Thank you, I will. Marty stands up and stretches. Well, I'd better head back to the office. I told Dana I'd meet with her about her column at 2 o'clock. Feel free to stay and finish your coffee if you want though. Just don't run off on me now. Hang on a second. Yeah? Marty stops halfway to the door. You said you know almost anyone in town, right? Do you know a guy named Ron? He might hang out in the forest a lot. Ron. Marty strokes his chin dramatically. Oh yeah, Ronnie Hochstapler. Yeah, I know the guy. That's Bill Hochstapler's nephew. A bit of an oddball, that one, but he is nice enough. You two friends? Maybe. Well, I'm glad you know someone else in town. Better get going now. See you back at the office. So the guy is probably real, I guess. Though it's kinda suspicious though. Could be a different Ron. Marty leaves the cafe. The bells on the door jingling behind him. Sit at the table, completely still, staring out the window. The coffee goes cold. I was so sure I was going crazy, but the railroad is real. There's really an old, incomplete train station out in the forest. Yeah, but what about the part about look out for the train? It wasn't a dream. It can't have been a dream. I'd never heard of that railroad before. So how would I dream of it? I was really there. Ron was there. Ron was really there. Marty knows him. There's still something weird going on with my memory. But I must just be forgetting things because of lack of sleep like I figured before. I don't know about that. I'm not crazy, and Ron's not a dream. He's a real, living, sweet, adorable weirdo who hangs out in the forest, and he's probably waiting for me again. I'll go see him tonight. Well, like maybe the guy thinks he remembers the wrong person, but maybe he forgot that he's like dead or something. Like that would be kinda my bet about how this is. I don't get much work done that afternoon either, but I'm distracted by excitement rather than the morning's anxiety. I can barely wait for the day to be over. I practically sprint straight to the forest after dinner, paying no mind to the strange looks I get from a few people closing up their shops on the main street. I burst into a clearing, out of breath, but happy, just as the last glowing hues of sunset disappear over the horizon, and the first stars appear in the night sky. I don't see Ron at first, so I check behind me, wondering if he is hiding in the trees again. Oh, he is there, I guess. When I look back, there he is, sitting on the tree stump with a big grin on his face, as if he was always there waiting for me. Wait, didn't it just say that he wasn't there? Yeah. Throw myself down next to him and pull him into another passionate kiss. The next few weeks are by far the happiest I have spent here, or perhaps anywhere. It becomes my routine to spend every night wandering through the forest with Ron. I tell him about my day at work, about the city I came from, and about my dreams for the future. He takes me on guided tours of the forest, showing me gnarled, towering trees that have lived for hundreds of years, and old, weather-worn tree houses where children who have since grown up and moved away used to play. We laugh, we kiss, we clumsily climb through the branches. I hold his pale, elegant hand. During the day, the upcoming special edition of the paper helps me find new purpose at work. Marty introduces me to the stern old woman who runs the museum. She responds to my queries about the town's history with stacks of dusty files from her basement and recommendations of books to look for at the library. I sift through the sources on the settlers who first laid down their luggage here, the stories they told, and the places they came from. I read about the railroad effort and the mystery surrounding its abandonment. I marvel at the mythology of the area. It starts to shroud the town in a layer of magic I never saw before. When I walk through the streets now, I notice the old well that people say is haunted, and the yellow brick house where a minister's daughter lived before she disappeared into the woods never to return. I wake up in the mornings looking forward to the new discoveries I might make during the day, and to how Ron will react when I tell him about them later. His green eyes always so full of wonder and fixation. I'm still having problems with my memory, which doesn't surprise me, because I might be sleeping even less now that I'm spending every night with Ron. But I'm so engrossed in everything I'm doing that I don't even have time to feel tired. Once I'm finished with this article, I'll ask Moody if there's a good doctor in town, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. I take very detailed notes about my research in case I forget anything, but for the most part, it seems to just be late at night that my memory starts to waver. The last thing I recall when I wake up in the morning is usually something about the time I spent with Ron, the church, the crunch of the leaves under our feet as summer turns into fall, or the ever-present pine scent of his skin. I rarely remember going to sleep, but Ron is real and wonderful, and I'm finally writing something good. I'll worry about everything else later. Sure, it sounds all good and dandy, right? Like nothing wrong about this at all. Yep, nothing weird at all. Nothing weird. Hey Dave, are you almost ready with the draft? Marty approaches me at work shortly before my deadline. Yup, I'll have it done for you by the end of today. Just putting a few finishing touches on it, you know. Great, I'm looking forward to reading it. It's nice to see how involved you're getting in the town's history. Yeah, I'm actually thinking maybe I could keep this up with a whole series of articles. There's so much interesting stuff that I can't fit in just one. Did you know there are a lot of myths about fairies in this area? Fairies, huh? Allegedly, they live in the forest, and they hide most of the time now that there are humans living nearby. But there are some old stories about people meeting strange figures in the moonlight, who offer to grant wishes in exchange for a sacrifice. Or sometimes they invite you to parties you can never leave once you eat the food or join the dance. And stories got pretty popular again around the time that the railroad was being built. A couple workers went missing, and others reported seeing strange things late at night. Sure, that's all cool stories, but surely that's not real at all, right? There were financial difficulties too, of course, but rumor has it that's one of the reasons the railroad was never completed, because of fairies. Oh yeah, My Nana told me stories about the Fae when I was a kid. Some are good, but others are terrible tricksters. Better stay away from the woods at night, right? Ha ha ha, right. If those legends are part of what keeps everyone else in town from disturbing Ron and me, then I'm really glad a few drunk railroad workers told some tall tales. Ha ha ha, sure is convenient. I think a series of articles on the town's legends and history sounds great. Or you could also talk to old Jimmy Johnson. He has plenty of stories to tell. Moody begins listing more names of people in town, debating with himself about which of them would be best for me to interview. As he mutters about whether it was someone or other, or some other guy whose father worked on the railroad, I notice a man in a wrinkled Hawaiian shirt strolling in. Strange man. Hey, there you are, Marty. I found that old photograph you were looking for. And some great old ones of the squirrels too. You know those squirrels who live in the yard. They get up to the funniest things sometimes. Ronnie, great to see you. Well, the Ron boys sure got a little older in these few days. Dana, can you scan this old photo of Ronnie's grandmother right away? We don't want to keep him waiting. And the squirrels. Huh. Remember, I taught you about running an article all about the different types of squirrels in town and what their favorite foods are. Right, the squirrels. Well, you know, I don't think we'll have room for that in this issue. What with all the special stuff for the town's anniversary. Oh. But leave those squirrel pictures with me and I'll take a look. See if we can use them in the future. Oh great. You're going to love them. They are just so funny. In this one, Mr. Fluffykins was trying to climb up the tree, but Marty loudly cuts the stranger off. Oh hey Dave, did you see that Ronnie is here? You know Ronnie, right, Dave? Wonder if he expects me to play along as part of some plot to get this strange man to leave. Didn't you say you two had been hanging out in the forest or something? You asked me if I knew him. I'm not sure if we have met before, but any friend of Marty's is a friend of mine. It's Dave, right? The name's Ronald Hotstapler, but you can call me Ron or Ronnie. All my friends do. Nice to meet you, Ron. Oh. When I asked Marty if he knew Ron, did he think I meant this guy? Well, surely. When what he said reassured me that Ron was real and that I wasn't crazy, was he actually talking about some local weirdo the whole time? Well, yeah. I think the other one is still saying something, but I can barely hear him. It feels like a thick fog has descended on my surroundings. How could I be so stupid? How could I just ignore a serious problem with my memory because it meant I got to spend more time with a hot guy? I have been looking past all kinds of weird stuff this whole time, telling myself it wasn't a big deal. It's almost like I was under a spell. It seems so obvious to me now that I'm losing my mind, either from sleep deprivation or from some other problem that lay dormant until I came to this tiny town. Of course Ron isn't real. Of course I invented him to make myself less lonely. A perfect pretty boy who wants to spend all night walking through the woods with me and holding my hand. Who could possibly think someone like that would really exist? Would really want me? He's not real. He's never been real. Well, unless fairies are real. I'm just crazy. I should have known. I tell myself not to go into the forest anymore. Whatever happens will only hurt me. Either I'll keep trying to hide from reality with my imaginary friend, or now that I have realized he's imaginary, I'll never see him again. The first option would be unhealthy, the second would be devastating. But just like the night before I met him, I lie awake for excruciating hours. No position is comfortable. I fluctuate between too hot and too cold, and in the brief moments that I manage to distract myself from my anxieties, my mind soon starts replaying embarrassing moments from my childhood. My head pounding, I eventually give up on trying to sleep and find myself wandering into the woods once more. I'm not sure if I even consciously decided to come here. It just became so routine that my feet led me here when I started walking, like the fingers of a pianist playing a song they memorized years ago. It feels colder out here than it ever did before, and I feel more alone than I have ever been. I kick the tree stump in anger at myself and my circumstances, and immediately regret it when my foot drops in pain. Scowling, I stalk deeper into the forest, through the thickening trees on the hill. Halfway up, I trip and fall flat on my face. My foot, it stumbled across something hard jutting out of the ground, hurts even more than before. I roll into my back, not bothering to get up. I'm in pain and exhausted, and probably out of my mind. What's the point of doing anything? As I look up at the canopy of branches, some of them becoming barren with the advent of autumn, the moonlight casts a shadow over me. Are you okay? hallucinations still have shadows. I guess that makes sense. If I can invent a whole guy, I might as well make him consistent with the laws of reality. No, I'm not okay. Leave me alone. Despite knowing he's not real, I'm still talking to him. Great. Oh. Okay, but if there's anything I can do to help, it is so sad. No, there's nothing you can do to help. I scrambled to my feet. You're not real. You don't exist. I don't know why I'm still talking to you. Oh yeah, I do know because I'm insane. If you want to help me, you can do it by disappearing. It's hard to tell in the dim light, but I think I can see tears brimming in his eyes. Why do the creations of my adult mind have to be so realistic and detailed? I'm so sorry. Why? I'm sorry. I never meant for you to think you were crazy. His voice wavers as he speaks. Things were different before. People used to accept that things might exist in the world beyond their understanding. Experiences like this made them happy that they could catch a glimpse of something magical. I didn't realize how different it would be for you. His hand shaking, he reaches out and gently places his fingers against my cheek. I may be very different from you, but I promise you, I'm not in your imagination. That doesn't prove anything. I could be hallucinating all of this, even the feeling of you touching me. I can tell that he's definitely crying now. His tears somehow catch and reflect the light of the moon. I can't stop myself from pulling him into an embrace. Oh. Is it really possible that I could imagine all of this, the heat of his fragile body against mine, and his tears soaking into my shirt? The memory problems. Is that why you thought I wasn't real? His voice is muffled by my chest, but I don't let go. Yes, I don't understand why I never remember going home and going back to bed after I see you. And for a long time, I didn't really think about how weird that was. I feel like there must be something wrong with me, not only for that to happen, but for me to barely even question it. That's just it. I can't help it. It always happens when He pulls away from me and looks into my eyes. When I interact with humans, I gasp, lost for words. But at the same time, I'm not really all that surprised. There was always another possibility about Ron. One that I wouldn't even let myself consider for fear that doing so would prove I was definitely crazy. Like I learned recently, this town has a lot of legends about fairies. He must see something like recognition in my eyes, because despite the tears streak down his cheeks, he smiles. I told you I have lived around here my whole life. Not right here, not in the same here you live in, but nearby, just beyond the border of your world and mine. I've always liked visiting, getting to know new people and bringing some magic into their lives. I'm sorry that it didn't work out so well for you. I shake my head. Ron, is that your real name? Close enough. It's what my friends call me. Ron, I have been so happy with you. You have always been sweet and understanding, and a perfect companion for my late night walks. I feel comfortable around you, like I can really be myself. You're so easy to talk to. You don't judge me for anything. And you have always called me David. A lot of people just assume they can call me Dave, and I don't mind it, but I like my full name, so I appreciate that. There was never anything wrong with you. I only freaked out because, well, I guess because I don't trust myself. You have brought magic into my life. Thank you. Then I have succeeded. I'm glad. The branches around us begin to rustle in the wind as he speaks. I love spending time with you too, David. I liked your funny stories about your co-workers and watching your eyes light up when you talked about your research and your plans for the future. You were always patient with me, even when there were some parts of modern human life that I didn't understand. You always took the time to explain. You didn't judge me either. You're a good person. You deserve to achieve your dreams. Don't forget that. Thank you. wind pickups as he kisses me for what I know must be the last time. I wrap my arms around him, holding onto him tightly. He strokes my cheek, brushing away a tear I didn't even realize I had shed. The wind is hurling through the trees now, chilling me to the bone, and it's accompanied by something else, a rumbling sound I think I have heard before. It's almost time, come on. He strides swiftly up the hill. I used to struggle to keep up with him, but now I match his pace with ease. I notice that we are following the old railroad tracks, but of course, we have been right next to them the whole time. I should have realized that when I tripped over them. Sure enough, I recognize the part of the forest Ron leads me to. The one he said was his favorite, the train station. Once we are within sight of the bench, he stops for a moment, then approaches it, one tentative step at a time. I watch him for a few steps behind now. I know he'll soon be going somewhere I can't follow. Halfway between me and the shelter, he stops and turns to face me. You can come with me, you know. It's difficult, but it's possible. Come with you, where? To my home. It's hard to describe. There's so much about it that you don't really have the words for in your language, because they are beyond anything you could ever experience. It would be strange to you at first, and it would be very difficult for you to ever return here. But we could be together, if that's something you want. I look at him, standing there among the trees and the wreckages. His pale, soft face is illuminated by a moonbeam, just like it was when we first met. It's almost as if the moonlight follows him wherever he walks. He is beautiful. He is perfect. I would love for us to be together. But I have to shout now over the rumbling and the wind that have grown stronger with every moment we wait. I think I'm happy here. At least I'm happier than I was before. I like what I'm working on at the paper. I'm more optimistic about the future. And that's partially because of you. I think I want to stay here. I want to see how things work out. He nods, the wind whipping through his hair. And somehow, I can hear the next thing. He says, as if he was right next to me. Goodbye then, David. I'll never forget you. He blows me a kiss, then turns his back. The last thing I see him do is place his hand on the back of the decrepit train station bench. And then I wake up from the longest and most bittersweet dream I have ever had. This is like the hardest story to read so far because it's so sad. It's so sad. Let me drink a little bit. Ooh. Well, let's try to finish this somehow still, even though I'm struggling. Getting out of bed is especially difficult this morning. On top of the general melancholy, every part of my body feels tired and heavy, but eventually I manage. I decide to stop at the Sunrise Bakery for a coffee on my way to work. It's a nice place, full of friendly people. I'm sure there are plenty of those in this town. I should go exploring someday and find them. I grab a donut for Marty too. I'm sure he'll be ecstatic. I still feel like going back to bed, but I have a lot of work to do today. I need to make some revisions to the first of a series of articles about the history of this weird and wonderful town. I have come to call home at last, home for now. After that, maybe I'll go see if Dorothy is in the museum, so I can double check a few things for the next article in the series. Or maybe I'll just convince Marty to take off work early and get him to introduce me to some of his other friends in town. Well, I can decide what to do later. I don't need to have everything all figured out just yet. I sip my coffee and smile. I think it's going to be a good day. Oh, that was super touching. That was super touching. It was moody for sure. Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster. But mostly sad. Sad in a good way. Oh, that's a really long note. You see. Okay, let me see. Hello and thank you for reading Well Met by Moonlight. This is my second completed visual novel, made in 2 months for Yaoi Game Jam 2018. Usually, when I get started on a creative project, it's because an idea for one just popped into my head. In fact, I have a long list of half-baked ideas for visual novels. Maybe you'll get to read some of them in the future. But this one actually started because I felt like participating in Yaoi Jam despite not having any ideas for it. So I asked some friends if they had any ideas for short gay romance stories, and my best friend, Sibelius, came up with a few that included this one. She thought of the general concept of falling in love with a magic guy in the forest, as well as the specific details of a different human guy who happens to have the same name as the magic guy, causing some confusion, and I took it from there. Thanks, Sibelius. Well, thanks, Sibelius. That was a really touching idea. I guess that in the final version of the story, it ended up being kind of ambiguous whether Ron is actually real. Earlier in the writing process, I had thought of having David take a picture of Ron the last time they met. Then the final epilogue type scene would show him with the picture of Ron on his desk, and Marty would comment on it, confirming that Ron really did exist. But I couldn't find a way to fit that into the flow of the scene I ended up writing. So if you want to believe that David actually was hallucinating the whole time, there's nothing in the text to contradict you, even though that wasn't my initial intention. I do like ambiguous endings that can lend themselves to multiple interpretation, so it works out okay. Yeah, I guess. Like, in a way it's probably even better like, now makes you like think more about like how the story went and stuff like that. I also thought about having a choice at the end about whether to take the magic train with Ron or not, but I ended up wanting the story to kind of have a message of not running away from your problems. Even though David's work and living situation isn't what he imagined it would be, he learns to appreciate the good parts of it, and he still has hope that he could achieve his long-term goals in the future. I think that's important. Thanks for reading. Jane Titer. Yeah, I kinda was like expecting like, or like wondering like if there would be the choice. It would have been like nice in a way. Like, especially when it comes to streaming, like it is good to have like an alternative good ending, because then players can play that still if I play one of them, because I feel kinda bad for playing the game and then people don't play it. Well, not that it really happens at this time, because I don't have really subscribers. But yeah, it was a good game. It was really touching. Oh. So that was Well Met by Moonlight. Just like barely managed to read it. without breaking into like uncontrollable crying. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation. It was really good game. Thank you for watching and the comments. And well, I'll be doing a Godot development stream tomorrow, so well, if you have time come there, I guess. Anyway, thank you for watching and everything, and see you later. Bye bye.